How's your process different to crisp? Because they're definitely different pizzas.
Definitely
I've had both.
People will come in and go, "Oh, it's like the same sort of pizza," and it's like,
nah, they're different.
If you're really into pizza, give it a few months. You'll look at them again and then you go, "That's nothing like," nothing alike. Yeah, I don't know. I guess,
like in terms of the actual making of it. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, it's all dough, sauce, and cheese, isn't it? But it's how you execute it.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, so he executes it. He puts his sauce on the top, like I was saying. Like they do in the old coal oven places and stuff like that. Yeah, I don't know. It's just a different style of pizza. They're both crispy pizzas. They're both, high in ingredients. It's just how you execute it.
Yeah, and how do you approach the, what did you say, dough, tomato, and cheese? Is that what you said? Dough, sauce, and cheese.
Yeah. So
how do you approach that differently versus everyone else? Because the pizza is fucking different.
Yeah, we have different hydrations. So my hydrations might be higher or lower than his.
How does the hydration?
Hydration is the amount of water you put in.
Yeah.
So to the amount of flour. So
right.
Mine is at the moment is 62% hydration. It might go up and down depending on the humidity. So that means 62% of my dough is water. His is a different hydration to mine. Some people put oil in, some people don't. He might put more, he might put less. You might have a different amount of salt. You can mix your dough. You can give it a bulk fermentation before you boil it up, so it proves once. Or you can use a pre-ferment, like sourdough or poolish or something like that. So there's many variables that are different. I know how he makes his dough. Well, I know roughly. It's not for me to say.
Yeah, of course not. No,
I'm sure a lot of people would like to know.
Of course not. It's not about that. It's more about understanding how.
So that's
you're not competitors. You're collaborators. I think. Was that the right word?
Definitely not competitors. No, I'm proud of how well he's done.
I suppose
one key thing in both of us is that really excelled us was taste cadets, like SEPA.
Yeah.
People just do nothing. When I was at the pub, I was chatting to them. I reached out to them and we were talking, and I sent them a pizza kit. They couldn't make it down to the pub.
What year was this?
This was 2020.
Yeah.
Sent them a pizza kit with my sauce, my chili honey, and everything. And I thought, they might post a picture of it, but they made a real fuss of it. They made pizzas. They got their rock box out. They were like having a laugh. I think they even had a live stream and stuff like that. And I got loads of followers from it. And the next day there was people turning up from all over the place and stuff like that. And that really kicked it off for me. That's when people started taking notice, and they're really into their food, obviously, and they love pizza. And then they were like, "Is there anywhere else like this?" And I was like, "Yeah." I said, "My mate's place, Crisp in Hammersmith. You have to go there." And then they went to his place and obviously gave him some exposure, and then the ball started rolling for him as well. So I'd say a bit of a catalyst for both of us. It would have happened anyway. He's in a great location. His pizza's amazing. But I think for both of us, that was a good because they represent. They're like us. They're normal people. They're from London, and it's nice to have. That's for me. It's a nice part of my story to say that's where.
And also I think culturally, like, people just do nothing. I know it's not the two other guys weren't. Is it Kieran? I don't know the other guy.
Kieran and Marcus.
Yeah, Marcus. I know they weren't. People just do nothing.
No.
SEPA, like, that program is the modern day Office. Well,
yeah,
like it was as funny as the Office.
It
had as much of a cultural impact 20 years later. Versus I think the Office was the funniest fucking thing.
Yeah.
In the world.
Funny thing about that is people just do nothing. Is I'm a little bit older than they are, just a few years. So like the garage scene was just when it was just sort of like they were like at the end of it, and I was a couple of years right in the thick of it. I was involved. We used to do Pipe Radio, me and my friends and stuff like that.
That's jokes.
And we know some of the same people. So there's a guy called Neil who was from Watford, who was like used to be a DJ, and my mate was a DJ, and we were like would be at parties together like rivals, like look, my mate's DJ, and then this Neil guy, he was their sort of manager. So so
people just do nothing.
Yeah. So like they really were involved, you know, in the pirate radio scene and stuff like that, you know. And our paths never crossed them, but like the guy who was their manager, me and his paths crossed loads. We know each other.
So what were those parties like then, when in the middle of in the mix with that garage scene like?
Yeah, just brilliant. Yeah, well, they were like I went to one school, and then most of my friends went to another school. They were a few years below me, and they all had decks and they all had parties and stuff like that. With my school, no one had parties. Like no one's parents would allow them. But like these sort of people, they always had parties. So we'd just turn up at it. It'd just be house parties, a party in a rugby club, and like you know there'd be like everyone would bring their records, DJs, the microphone, you know, the emceeing and stuff like that. And
that's true. So what kind of, because when I was in here, there was a massive eclectic mix of different music. Like what's the sort of song, or what's the kind of sound? I asked some really dumb questions.
Oh, in here, yeah.
Like what's the best song to make pizza to?
I don't know. My favourite type of music, I'd say, is like new wave, like sort of 80s new wave. So
is that like Giorgio?
Yeah, Giorgio Moroder, Talking Heads, stuff like that.
Oh, Talking Heads are my favourite.
Talk, that sort of stuff. But some of the best playlists we have in here are just old hip hop ones, like obscure East Coast stuff. You know, I'm not talking Biggie or Tupac. I mean, like
because mate, so I definitely need to introduce you to Stu from Black Burger, because they just played not just East Coast, but they just bang out the old school hip hop.
Yeah. That's what
I like that. I like what are some of the weird, obscure hip hop bands or artists you play? Yeah, what's the best music?
I don't know. I don't know the names of half of these people. Like I've got these playlists, so I listen to them and I think, wow, these are like unsung heroes. And you look at them, you don't know who they are. They're not like, you know, like the most famous of that time would be like Nas, the Illmatic album. You know, I love that album. But like, there's stuff that's as good as that, and you know,
Nas is amazing.
Sinister Voices, and I can't think of much of their names.
The Talking Heads are really interesting, and I think there's a bit of a parallel to the way you apply pizza, right? Because I interviewed. Do you know? Have you ever been to Warehouse Project in Manchester?
No, I haven't.
So I interviewed the founder of that Sasha the other week, 3 weeks ago now. We talk about how, you know, Manchester kind of exploded in the 80s.
Yeah.
He's basically saying what happened is, you know, Happy Mondays,
Hacienda,
Happy Mondays, Hacienda. What was the other one? New Order, Joy Division. Yeah, that's back. It's basically saying what happened is rock, dance music kind of merged with like rock music.
Oh, yeah.
And that's what Talking Heads is. It's
I think. You know, like looking back at Happy Mondays, they were well ahead of their time, I think.
Mate, they're the most underrated brand. Yeah. I think because people think of, is it Bez on like...
and they're hits, but there's some of their stuff was
but mate, there's that Hallelujah song.
Yeah, Hallelujah,
Hallelujah. That's a tune, mate.
It is, isn't it? Yeah.
Tune.
Just the drum roll. And
That's people. I don't think people think about how good that song is.
It is good, yeah.
But I think they're actually right up there with the Talking Heads. Talking Heads get more of a...
I love Talking Heads.
But have you seen the video of the guy from Talking Heads being like swearing like that? He's a G.
Yeah,
he's an absolute G. But where I'm going with this, I go very...
David Byrne.
Yes.
He's Scottish. He moved to New York. Apparently, if you're in New York and you're like on the west side, you see him on his bike and stuff like that a lot.
Oh, really?
I've never seen him, but like, I always look. Do you know what I've seen though? Twice in New York, Kevin Bacon. And both times was in a subway station, just like on separate occasions.
That's so random.
Yeah. And I see him in London as well once. I've seen him about 3 times.
Maybe you need to do a Kevin Bacon pizza, mate. Talking Heads, they fuse two things together to create this completely new thing. Same with Happy Mondays, rock and funk, and punk, and rock and dance music, Hacienda.
Orange Juice as well. I like orange. Do you know Orange Juice?
Yes. So they were I think they were the inspiration for Happy Mondays.
Were they?
I think so, because I did a research on that.
Edwyn Collins, you know, he done Girl Like You. Never known a girl.
Yeah. Before, that's an absolute such.
He played that. There's a bar down in Harrow called Trinity, where we used to I used to DJ there and stuff like that. And and the owners and that, they know a few people in the music industry and stuff like that. And there was always good promoters there, bringing people there. And one time, Edwin Collins came.
Yes.
And done like a set at Halloween. It was brilliant.
That's so random, mate. Yes, but I think what you're doing with your pizzas, you're taking kind of the old school, if you like, what Talking Heads were doing, what Happy Mondays were doing, was taking the rock. Right?
Yeah.
You were taking these old school 5 pizza shops with their way of doing things, and then you've got this whole new way, which is almost like the dance part, which do you know what I mean? You and Carl are doing. As I said, you've reinvented fucking pizza, in my opinion, between the two stores.
Well, a lot of people are saying now, what's London pizza? Like, is it, because, like, you've got New York pizza, New Haven pizza. Is London pizza a thing?
That's really interesting. What would you... So, say you were to define...
I would say it is.
I think you and Carl, between the two of you, have the right to define what London pizza is. How would you define it versus New York?
I would say it's inspired by New York. That's the thing, though. It is, but it's definitely, it's crispy. It's bigger than a Neapolitan pizza. It's cut into slices. It's foldable. It's similar to a New York, but it's more artisanal, I would say.
Artisanal.
Well, like the dough's more had a bit more of an artisanal method. I don't know.
No.
No, we might be using better cheese, nice olive oil. Finishing it with some nice grana padano, snipping some basil on it or something like that.
Yeah, how important is the basil? Because that's what I really liked.
Yeah.
Like, what does the basil do to the pizza, in your opinion? Because not every place whacks it. But
No.
Whereas I love basil as a thing.
The basil thing came about from the Farah in New York. He was doing it.
Who?
The Farah. Like, it's a
is.
famous place in New York that the guy, Dom DeMarco, was the only guy who made pizza for about 40 years, And that was like I always thought to myself, that's what I want to be like. Like I said, a romantic idea, but it's not a reality. It's like, and also, I didn't have a business plan. And I didn't realise that you'd only be able to make a certain amount of pizzas a night on your own, and you're never going to make enough money you'd be breaking even, I didn't think of it as a business before. It definitely was just passion, But now I have responsibilities, I've got bills to pay, I've got staff to pay, so I have to look at it as a business now, which sucks really.
Yeah. Yeah. The fun's been...
Yeah. There's still fun to be had. There's still fun every day, but
how do you keep the fun in the team, like when it's getting busy and stressed? Like, because it's, when I came in here, it's like it felt like there's real camaraderie, like a real kind of
just having a good team. Yeah, like, I don't like people that are too serious. I don't really get on with awkward people very well. I like people that can, like at first it was probably like they probably have to laugh at my bad jokes and stuff like that, But now we've got our own. We laugh at, we've got private jokes, in jokes. We've got, you develop a sort of work mentality, a work sense of humour. And then every time we get a new staff member, they always bring us something fresh. Our new guy, James, well, he's not new, he's been here ages now, but when he first came, it was like, it lifted everyone's spirits because they've probably been hearing me moan for so long about just mundane stuff that, all everyone else is like, and he's bringing new jokes to the table and stuff like that. Yeah, it's just like that, I guess.